Hello! Welcome to another Warframe tip of the day. Today we'll be showing you how to get Hydroid. First off, let me tell you about Hydroid. I personally love using Hydroid. He's my go-to loot boy. You'll need his augment to turn him into a loot boy, but it's so worth it, but I'll get into that in a bit. His abilities follows. Hydroid's number 1 is Tempest Barrage. It is an area effect damager that shoots water missiles on a targeted location. You can also charge this ability to increase its damage. I personally think this ability is useless, but only because his 4th ability is pretty much the same thing, but better. If you enjoy shooting missiles that deal little to no damage, this ability is built around strength, duration, and range. The initial ability consumes 25 energy and 50 for charge. His number 2 is Tidal Surge. It turns Hydroid into a tidal wave that has him move fast around the map while being invulnerable. This may help crowd control if you're being surrounded by enemies. Just perform your Tidal Surge and you will crash into the enemies, knocking them down as you move away, while being invulnerable. This ability may become little to no use, only because Hydroid is mostly played in range. You'll want to be out of range from the enemies if you perform your number 1 ability and number 2 ability. Especially if you decide to charge those abilities, you may go down if an enemy is damaging you while charging. To build Tidal Surge, it uses strength, duration, and range. It consumes 50 energy. Hydroid's number 3 ability is Undertow. It has Hydroid turned into a puddle of water. The puddle will then trap enemies that enter it and has them sink down into the puddle. The enemies in turn go into a knockout state and the puddle will deal damage. This may be good to use for crowd control in conjunction with Tidal Surge for escaping the Undertow. Also has Hydroid become invulnerable. Simply use the Undertow ability, then while in Undertow, use Tidal Surge. Being a puddle is useful from escaping the Stalker. Since the Stalker disappears when you die, simply go into Undertow and let your teammates kill the Stalker. To build Undertow, you will need strength and range. It consumes an initial energy cost of 15 energy, then it consumes an energy drain after that, and then grab cost of 5 energy per grab. Hydroid's number 4 ability is Tentacle Swarm. This is my favorite ability and what I build my Hydroids around. Tentacle Swarm has Hydroid release tentacles within his range to pop up under nearby enemies and grabs them into your ragdoll state or sends them flying into the air. This can either one-shot kill the enemy or severely damage them. Upon initial contact, the tentacles deal magnetic damage. While in Undertow, you can cast Tentacle Swarm and the tentacles will deal damage in Undertow. This ability can be charged, increasing its range and amount of tentacles. Make sure you are out of range from enemies because you can still be damaged while charging. This ability combined with its augment Pilfering Swarm at max rank will have the tentacles deal 100% chance of dropping extra loot. I personally advise using this augment. It is a must-have when using Hydroid and is great for looting. Tentacle Swarm is built around strength, duration, and range. It consumes 50 to 100 energy depending on how much you charge it. To obtain Hydroid's chassis, neuroptics, and systems blueprints, you'll need to visit Oro on Earth. This is an assassination mission for Counselor Vayhek. His main blueprint will be offered in the market. When meeting Vayhek, he will fly away showing you during his battle he will keep fleeing and you will need to chase him. He will have very strong armor but with 2 weak spots, his face and his backpack. When his mask opens up on his face, he is vulnerable to attacks. When his backpack glows yellow, that too will be vulnerable to attacks. When Vayhek reaches low health, he will fly into his terra frame, which makes him vulnerable to damage anywhere on his body without hitting his weak spots. Once defeated, he will drop one of Hydroid's blueprints, or none at all. This is a farming mission, so you need to defeat Vayhek multiple times to finish building Hydroid. You may get the same blueprint multiple times, so don't get discouraged, keep trying. Once you finish building your Hydroid, let me show you a good build for him and is what I use. I will be using Hydroid Prime. His stats will be slightly different than normal Hydroid. This build is based around Tentacle Swarm. I don't ever use his first 1-3 abilities. I find it useless for what I use Hydroid for. Hydroid is my loot boy main, as well as excavation main. His augment Pilfering Swarm will also drop 2 extra power cells in excavation, which is very useful, as well as his tentacles help defend the excavators from enemies. So let's talk about his mods that I use. First off, Energy Siphon is good because you can never have enough energy. I like to spam my Tentacle Swarm instead of waiting for the duration. The tentacles spawn right underneath the enemies, so therefore if the enemy is already dead or went flying from the tentacles, there's nothing to ensnare at the moment. So when new enemies enter my range, I charge up my tentacles and blast them away again. You can also swap out Energy Siphon for Corrosive Projection. You can eat away armor and one-shot enemies twice as fast. Let's move on to strength. You want to boost the damage rate of your tentacles. You can't get your extra loot off a Pilfering Swarm unless the enemies die on your tentacles. So I threw on Intensify, Augur Secrets, and Power Drift. At max rank, his base damage with Tentacle Swarm is 200. With the 3 added damage mods, the damage went up to 338. That's with all my mods at max rank and 169% strength. Next, you'll need to stretch out your range, so you'll get a wider range of enemies. Add in Stretch in Augur Reach. Augur Reach and Augur Secrets combined will also award you any energy spent on abilities is converted to shields. The base radius is 5 meters. With the mods added, it comes to 8.7 meters and at 175% range. Next, I added in a bit of duration with Prime Continuity. Normal Continuity can work too, depending if you want to use Tentacle Swarm offensively or defensively. You can put the Power Drift in the Xylus adapter slot and add another duration mod such as Augur Message in the empty slot to add more duration and shields. The base duration is 20 seconds. With Prime Continuity, it boosted it up to 29 seconds at 145% duration. The last 2 slots add some health such as Vitality and the Augment Pilfering Swarm. To add the extra loot, play with your mods on how you play your Warframes. Everyone plays them differently. And there you have it, another Warframe tip of the day. Please like and subscribe to support my channel.